Hello, everyone. This is Damien from Beginners C++ and Beginners Java. Um, and I'm here to announce that there is going to be a new series starting. The reason why the other series came to a rather abrupt halt is for a few reasons. I was in school, mother and ailing health, and was just generally busy. I got a new job working at the help desk at a company, and I've since been promoted to being a programmer. Um, so I'm going to be rebooting both series. However, they're both going to be on a different and hopefully last website that I'm moving to. It's most likely just going to be a generic beginners programming. I'm not sure if I'm going to fully remake the C++ and Java sections, but what I am going to do is I'm going to have a more generic third section of just beginners programming. And in that, there might be some examples of, C++ or Java codes to solve solutions, but it's going to focus a lot more on solving problems programmatically and algorithmically. It's going to focus a lot more on object-oriented principles. I'm going to get into encapsulation, polymorphism, and inheritance. I'm going to talk a lot more about object serialization. I'm going to get a lot more grainy. So it's going to be a lot more high level concepts. It's going to talk about extensibility of projects and other formats. It's going to talk about long term maintainability of projects, proper documentation, things of that nature that I've sort of, I don't really want to say failed to touch on, but failed to emphasize as much as I should. Um, a little bit about the job I took. The job I took, I was being interviewed as an internal candidate, at the job that I was working help desk, and I was offered two positions. One was very business logic, working with an accounting and other multi-purpose platform that deals in, basically every aspect of the company. It's personnel management, account management. It's very wide-reaching, and it didn't really appeal to me. So what I ended up doing was I took a job in the network operations area, where now I'm involved in automating and doing predictive event algorithms, and I'm doing a lot of very interesting sort of cutting edge stuff. Um, so the long and the short of it is, I feel like I'm in an interesting position to continue teaching, and an interesting sort of position to kind of kick off a new style of series where it won't be focused so much on the code. I will still expect you to know the basics. You're still going to need system.out.println. You're still going to need to know what a boolean is and how it works. You're still going to need to know try catch, which I don't think I ever showed you guys in Java, so I might need to expand Java out a bit more. But you're going to need to know a good deal before you even look into this. But I'm going to start it slow, and I'm going to start by just laying out problems and kind of explaining how I would attack those problems. There's going to probably be use of Google in this because nobody's ever going to remember every single piece of code ever. It's fine if you forget how XPath works. It's fine if you don't remember how to use a sax parser or DOM or any of the XML things because you're learning Java. But you might run into a project where you need XML or CSV or need to use a flat file or a config file and need to use some crazy library you've never used before, and that's fine. So things that I really want to cover are as follows. Number one, simple automation. Number two, object-oriented principles, concepts, basically redoing everything I've ever taught about objects from the ground up. File handling and advanced file handling. Now, I didn't touch that at all in Java, even though it's way easier in Java than it is in C++. I want to talk about handling different file types in the libraries that are available to do so. I want to make it a real huge point to talk about attacking problems. And again, might involve Google at times because I'm great with the language itself, but that doesn't mean that I don't need to bring in some documentation. I'm going to get more into pushing your results via Subversion or another client. I mean, they hook into NetBeans pretty well. So whatever kind of repository or CVS your company is using. Um, Aside from that, I really want to get into documentation. I'll say that because the position I took, nothing's documented. I'm dealing with files that are 3,000 to 4,000 lines long with no documentation. So I just said, I'll just remake the whole damn project because it's not worth it. One file, no method files, no object creation files. It's all just one file. It's a mess. So I said, I'll just redo the whole damn thing because it's not worth trying to learn what that guy took 4,000 lines to do. And aside from that, we're going to talk about using APIs. APIs are application programming interfaces. That's a little sort of program, not programs, but little sort of hooks into their program that people make. And these can be for anything from getting weather data to import into a program. Good example of that is on my cell phone. We've all seen someone who has a weather program right on the front page of their cell phone. I use one called SenseFlip. So they have to import the weather data. They do it from Google, I believe, and when they do that, they simply pull from Google's API. I'm working with a ton of different APIs now, different ones for energy producers and things of that nature that I can't get too deeply into. Um, but the truth of the matter is, there's a lot more that I want to convey to you guys because the series that I've put out, while good, they have some errors, they have some oversights, they have some inconsistencies. But what I feel like they don't do is I feel like they don't teach you enough to quite get your foot into the door of a company. Like you'd need to go further than that. So with that being said, I want to make mention of two more things before I go. I want to mention that the websites are still up, Beginners C++ and Beginners Java, well, Beginners CPP. The IRC channel is basically the only way to get me. I'm not on Meebo, so I'm not there to really tend to the web chat too well. If anybody knows of a good Java applet that will allow people to connect just to one channel on IRC, let me know, and I can toss that on the website. Aside from that, the only other thing is I'm always available via email, via Reddit. Username Sarevok9, SAREVOK9. So if you guys have any questions or anything along the way, please let me know. More than happy to help you out. Alright, have a good night, everyone, and keep coding.